There are memories I can relive just by closing my eyes. Sliding into the basement in a plastic box and breaking my arm. Smoking my first cigarette on the roof on a warm summer night. Kissing my first boyfriend in the colorful glow of the Christmas lights while my parents snored down the hallway. Other memories are fuzzier, but I'm sure they happened. 1,000 pancake breakfasts and board game nights and silly arguments over nothing. Some only exist in grainy home movies. My baby fists pulling apart my first birthday cake. My toddler feet taking their first steps. Every memory has just one thing in common. Her. The girl upstairs. When I broke my arm, my mom wrapped it with towels to hide the blood, and my dad held my mouth shut to keep me from crying while they rushed me to the car. Their eyes didn't leave that dark second-floor window until we left the cul-de-sac, and throughout the long drive to the hospital, my mom kept checking the mirror. The first time I smoked, I was terrified of getting caught, but that fear faded once I sprawled out on the still warm shingles to watch the sunset. No one could see me so high up, and even though I choked, I still felt cool, until I saw a pair of pale, bare feet out of the corner of my eye. Her. Who knew how long she'd been standing right behind me without saying a word? Just standing there like a living scarecrow, her white dress rippling in the breeze. I cursed and scurried back inside. The year I turned 15, my boyfriend Derek swore he'd spend Christmas with me. After everyone went to bed, I unlocked the front door and sat beneath the tree, biting my lip, waiting, wondering what it would be like. A little after midnight, he finally showed up with a thermos of hot chocolate and some gift-wrapped earrings. Just when things were getting interesting, something moved in the darkness. The girl upstairs was just a few feet away from us, circling in the shadows where the colored lights couldn't reach. Derek didn't notice, of course, but I could feel her hunger for him filling our little living room like a toxic fume. I knocked over a lamp on purpose, and when my parents' bedroom light snapped on, Derek ran for it. For all I know, I saved his life that night. Because there's one thing I know for sure about the girl upstairs. She's dangerous. As soon as I was old enough to understand, my parents made it clear that I was never to approach that ordinary-looking door at the end of the second-floor hallway. Somebody special lived there. And if this special guest ever approached me while I was alone, I was supposed to say nothing and run until I found an adult. This guest was so special that I was never to speak or interact with them in any way. Of course, kids forget things so easily. The first time I talked to the girl upstairs, she was walking in circles in the front yard in that dreamy way of hers, like her bare feet weren't quite touching the ground. I'd been playing basketball in the driveway, and after a missed free throw, my ball had landed right in front of her ivory white toes. "What's your name?" I remember asking her. Her back was to me, but when I spoke, she began to turn. But not like you or me. First, her left foot twisted all the way around, then her right. The rest of her followed, as though she didn't have any bones to break. As the girl upstairs turned, 5-year-old me realized that I'd never seen her face, and I was suddenly, absolutely sure that I did not want to. I ran to my parents, just as they'd ordered me to. I listened in on a hushed conversation that night. I caught a didn't know, and a so wrong, and a can't be helped, and that was all I got before I fell asleep with my ear to the register. I was afraid that if I slept in my own bed, the girl upstairs would get me. And later that night, I did hear footsteps coming down the hallway, trying hard to keep silent. There was a sweet, burning smell in the air, like the stuff Mom and Dad drank at parties, and someone hissed, "Shh." Unable to stand it any longer, I peered through the crack in the door and saw Dad's manager, the one Dad said was always hitting on Mom, whatever that meant. But now Mom was holding on to him. She was wearing a shiny little dress. His shirt was untucked, and his tie hung from his neck like a hangman's noose. Mom gave a breathy little laugh and pulled him toward the stairs. I realized with a mix of dread and fascination that she was taking him to the second-floor bedroom, to the girl upstairs. A lot of people went up those stairs over the years. Dad's pervy manager, a nosy old lady from church who threatened to sue Mom's business, even a kid from down the street who broke our bathroom window with a baseball. I can't recall any of them ever coming down again. Usually, Mom or Dad took someone up there when they thought we might have done something to make our house guest angry. It was hard not to lash out at her, even by accident, because she had this way of just appearing. Picture this. You're 8 years old, finally old enough to take a bath all by yourself. You have to leave the door open a crack, though, and that's why you pull the shower curtain shut. To keep the heat in and give yourself some privacy, like the grown-ups do. You want your hair to be big and poofy like Mom's, so you use her shampoo, even though it burns a little. You're rubbing it into your scalp with your eyes closed when you hear the bathroom door creak open. You freeze, because those bare footsteps don't sound like Mom or Dad's. Very quietly, you dunk your head in the water to wash off the shampoo so you can see again. When you come back up, there's a thin shadow just inches away on the other side of the shower curtain. You gulp. It just stands there, while the water gets colder and colder, until you're holding your jaw so your teeth don't chatter. After what feels like forever, it walks away like it was never there. Or you're 12 now, washing up after spaghetti dinner. Your parents invited this smelly homeless guy to eat with the family before they sent him up to the second floor, so there's a lot of dishes. You're completely focused on scrubbing, because you can hear the season finale of your favorite show starting up in the living room. Some instinct makes you look up, and in the blackness outside you see a pair of pale hands pressed up against the window. Maybe you're 17, and no one likes you because you're the slut who slept with Derek Harmon on Christmas Eve. That didn't happen, and you know it. But high school has its own set of rules about what's true and what isn't. So you're sitting in the tree swing your dad made, headphones on, just trying to get lost in a sad song and forget all about your dumb, boring life, when the hair on the back of your neck suddenly stands up. There's something standing just inches behind you, and when you turn, you see her, that stupid bitch from upstairs who's caused so much drama. "What is your deal?" you scream. "Then get away from me." You even give the girl upstairs a little shove or try to, but she catches her hand and it sort of sticks to her. And you realize that after all those years, the girl upstairs has finally caught you. You struggle and squirm, unable to escape, and while you do, an eye the size of a dinner plate opens on the neck of the girl upstairs. It looks at you with the disdain you might show an ant that's wandered onto your napkin. Then, after a long moment, it disappears back into her flesh. The girl upstairs releases you and walks mechanically across the yard, up the wall, and into her open bedroom window. That was the last time I talked to the girl upstairs. It's been almost 20 years, but she looks just the same as she did when I was 17. My parents have lived with her for most of their lives, and now they've made it clear that it's my turn. When I asked why we didn't just abandon the girl upstairs and the house to its fate, they didn't answer. But the look on their faces told me everything I needed to know. That's how I find myself back here, ready to take possession of the house I grew up in. My parents' U-Haul has already left for Florida. Standing here beneath the late afternoon sun, you'd never guess that something nightmarish lurked on the second story of one of these quiet suburban houses. From down here, the second floor looks empty, but there's some movement behind the curtain. Could it be that the girl upstairs just waved to me?